What's up, boys and girls? This is Black and Yellow Movies, and we just saw I, Tonya. I, Tonya is based on a true story and is the biopic of the infamous Tonya Harding. Now, if you might not know, Tonya Harding was an Olympic-class ice skater in the early 90s. And she was involved in a very big scandal with Nancy Kerrigan, where Nancy Kerrigan ended up with a pipe to her knee.
Now, one of the things we really enjoyed about this film was the tone. It has a nice, dark, comedic tone to it, and it doesn't necessarily take away from the fabric of the film. It actually feels it in a very positive way.
The performance by Margot Robbie as Tonya Harding was incredible, and the supporting cast was also great, especially Allison Janney, who played her very, very abusive, non-loving mother.
We also enjoyed how this movie is a very reactionary tale. It humanizes Tonya Harding very well for somebody who was in the news as sort of a villain against the American people.
Overall, we thought this was a really, really good film, and we liked how this director took a very dark comedic tone. With amazing performances by Margot Robbie and Allison Janney, we give this film a 7.5 out of 10.
Now, speaking back to the tone and the flourishes of this film, the dark comedic touch that Craig Gillespie decided to put in here, we enjoyed that aspect of the film. It deals with a lot of serious subjects, like a broken home. She has her mom that she's dealing with on a day-to-day since she was young.
You know what? Maybe I would.
Her father left, when she was really young, so he wasn't in the picture to kind of mitigate things and meet things out and even it out. So her mom took it on herself to physically and verbally abuse her at almost any turn she could find.
The director does this by the pacing, and a lot of the violence that we saw was very cartoony. It seemed like a little over the top.
Brass wanted me to be the pile of crap. I never did this.
It was definitely a deliberate choice and a very smart choice, I think, by the director to make this film a lot easier to digest and a lot more open for a much larger audience to, experience this film, because it was so light on such a very serious subject.
Along with the tone and the movement of the film, we loved the pacing. It was brisk and you never felt too rushed, even though it deals with pretty much her entire life leading up to the incident in about 2 hours. But it's not overload, it's not information overload like we felt a little bit in Molly's Game, where she's narrating it at such a quick pace and all these little small intricacies that didn't really fuel the story. This one, I felt like a lot of the things that they told that didn't have to do with the actual incident fueled it. It didn't distract you from the overall fabric of the story, and I thought that was a great decision on the part of the filmmakers.
Now, moving on to performances, like we said before, Margot Robbie did an incredible performance, and we would be surprised if she was not nominated for Best Actress for this year's Oscars.
Easily.
She transformed herself. I think we use this term a lot, but she transformed herself into Tonya Harding.
Yep.
But not only that, when you have an actual person that she's portraying that's actually very polarizing because of the history and because of, the media, it's hard to make this character or this real person resonate with the audience.
And it's great to have Margot Robbie able to encapsulate herself with this true life person so much, because it's in such contrast to what Allison Janney did as her mom in the portrayal of this movie. She was a vicious character.
Call that a clean skate, for Christ's sake?
Do not swear in front of the kids.
I didn't swear, you cunt.
She was somebody who Margot Robbie had to fight with on the day-to-day, which actually pushed her to be as vicious as she was later on in life on the skating rink. And she was a fuel for that. And to have that dynamic on screen, I loved to see it. I thought both actresses portrayed each true life person beautifully.
The mom was a true protagonist in every sense of the word. She pushed Margot Robbie, she pushed Tonya Harding to become the exact person she was. And Allison Janney does a great job. That's why we think that Allison Janney will be nominated.
I think she's probably gonna win.
You think she's gonna win?
I think she's gonna win.
She's definitely gonna be nominated for Best Supporting Actress, but there's a strong chance with her performance in this movie, which you guys have to see. It's so good that that's just a good chance of winning.
A really good chance. I, Tonya is a very reactionary tale. Everything is kind of built on how she reacts to any given situation that she's put in. During her early years as a figure skater, she believed that the judges hated her because she didn't have the image that they wanted. She didn't come from the wholesome household, which you see, and she actually explains to one of the judges, who tells her, hey, it's not just about the ice skating. You're representing America, and this is not what they're looking for. So she felt like the whole world was against her at times. And the film did an incredible job in showing that sometimes the world was, or it did seem to be, against her. And the fact that they were able to juggle those very serious, sometimes ominous subjects, and the way they were able to juggle all those things, which can sometimes seem ominous, and put it in front of the camera for the viewer to digest on their own, I thought was an incredible feat.
This movie is a very nice package overview of Tonya Harding's life. Some people have only heard of Tonya Harding, and some people have only seen or maybe heard snippets of what might have happened, and some people might even think that Tonya Harding was the one that took a pipe to Nancy Kerrigan's knee. But this movie, it really gives you a good backstory, and I feel like it's a good movie for someone who really enjoys great acting from Margot Robbie, but also if you want to know more about this story, and also you want to know more about how things aren't as simple as it seems. You know, a person isn't a person strictly because they're just born a bad person.
Right.
And I feel like this movie deals with a lot of those things. It deals with parenting, it deals with abusive relationships, and you can see how seeds are planted early on that make the person, you know, who they are.
I feel like it's one of those instances where you have, you know, the saying, if you understood somebody's struggle, you wouldn't judge them. And this is definitely that type of movie, because when you see the backstory, when you understand the abuse that she was going through, mental, physical, emotional, all those things, you're like, oh, all she did was kind of know about this, and that's all they did was take it, you know, a pipe to their knee. Because I mean, the things that she deals with and the movie deals with are things that I've heard can create horrible people.
Yes,
like,
horrible.
You know, like people that don't want to continue to strive to be the best ice skater, people that will literally turn to a life of crime because they feel like the world is against them or nobody loves them. And so for them to humanize somebody who is essentially, like they said, a punchline or a tabloid, I think it was a great feat that they were able to pull off.
Well, that was our review for I, Tonya. This is Black and Yellow Movies. If you like this video, please a thumbs up, give us a subscribe. And if you have watched it or have any, you know, discussions you want to talk to us about in the movie, just leave your comments below. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. We love to talk movies. We love to talk about any movies. It doesn't have to be I, Tonya.
It doesn't have to be even a good movie.
No, it could be a bad movie too. Well, this is Black and Yellow Movies signing out. See you guys next time.